Okay, great. So, welcome. We're having a session today, which I think is a really important session, right? How you can sell properties like crazy. And I mean, it's a Valentine Day edition because Valentine is in 4 days, right? How many of you already have Valentine? You have people that either you're about to, you can just type, let's communicate via typing, right? You have people that you are going to give gifts, or you have people that are going to receive gifts from, or, you have faith. That what God cannot do does not exist. In 4 days, you tell your story around there. People are not answering me. I'm asking a serious question, a serious of life, a question of life and death. That's how many of you have Valentine yet? Answer me. You don't know, maybe somebody in the group can just, you know, become the Valentine. Right? So I want you guys to listen to me. Right. So, like I said, we're having a conversation on exactly how we can increase our sales in this period. Right. So listen to me very carefully. As usual, I will introduce myself before we have every webinar. Right. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Right. I'm a seasoned real estate investment strategist. CEO of Zero T. To help Gen Zs invest in properties the Z way. That's easier, faster, and safer. So let's jump straight into what we have for today. I went to a site, Oberlo, right? So that's the site there. And then I was checking some statistics on how much money is spent on Valentine's Day every year. Now between 2013 and 2023, I want you guys to look at this very carefully. Right? You listen to me, guys. Between 2013 and 2023, I want you guys to look very closely at the amount of money that is spent, not the whole year, just on Valentine's Day every single year. As of 2023, according to this statistic, it's about $25.9 billion. Did you hear what I just said, guys? $25.9 billion. That's a lot of money. So now, it's not a question of whether money is available. It's a question of how can we get a share of this? Now, let's do a first mathematics. How much is $25.9 billion in Nigerian naira? That's the first question I want to ask. So let's do the math. Let's see if your calculator is going to spoil today. How much is $25.9 billion in Nigerian naira? Who wants to calculate it for us? So I'll wait for the first person. Let's use a rate of 1.5. So 1.5 times 25.9. Can your calculator handle it? It should show you something like E raised to power. How many of you have seen that on your calculator? You're seeing something like E raised to power or E something. Give me an amount. I'm waiting for you guys. Or something times 10 raised to power 20 something. Are you guys hearing me? It seems like I'm having a conversation with myself. I'm not getting any feedback. I'm not getting any feedback. So how much is $25.9 billion in Nigerian naira? Put it in your calculator, multiply it times 1,500. Let me see how much that's going to give us. Nobody's answering me. I wish you had the class. Nobody's talking to me. So I'm a bit confused. What's happening? Is it because the class is by 7 today? I mean, literally, I can't see any response. Alright. So I'm going to wait till I get a response today. Don't get the response. Wait, we'll do the class next week. Okay, so that's 3.85. Thank you, Tolu. The figure is heavy. Your calculator is not calculating. Exactly. That's what I want you to realize. So 3.885 times 3 is per 13. Right? That's a huge figure. That's a huge figure in Dara. Right? So I want to ask you guys a question, and I want everyone to give me an answer. Right? I'm going to make this class relatively interactive today. So the question is, why do people spend so much on Valentine's Day? Why do you think people spend so much on Valentine's Day? Because this is it. The problem is not that they are spending. The problem is that they are not spending on what you are selling. And so whether or not they will spend is not the question we're asking. The question is, how do you now become a receiver of that spending? I don't know if this is making sense to you. That's exactly the entire point of this session. How do you become a receiver of that spending? That's it, basically. How do you become a receiver of that spending? That's all we want to get to learn in this class. Because whether or not they are going to spend is not the question. But now, can we get them to spend on what we want them to spend on? That's actually the real question. So why do you think people spend so much? Let me take two answers. On Valentine's Day, why do you think people spend so much? Someone said to show love. Okay. Let me hear another answer. Let me hear another answer. Why do you think people spend a lot on Valentine's Day? I'm seeing some of us typing, so I'll just wait to get this. Peer pressure. Good boy, Jerry. Say that peer pressure. To put a smile and cause blushes and all of that. Great. Great. So I wrote it here that people buy things emotionally. They believe that's how to invest in relationships. Great. So we are all coming to an agreement that there is something about Valentine, right? Now, that is connected to people spending more money. That's the first thing we have been able to itemize from this slide. Spending more money. Now, we want to find why they are spending more money. And then we've tied it to a particular keyword. And that's the word relationship. Follow me carefully. Relationship. This is the keyword we're looking for. So, in whatever form, there's some sort of relationship maintenance or relationship improvement that they want to foster by spending that money. Are you with me? And I have it written here that people buy emotionally. That's how people buy. So it means, follow me carefully, for whatever reason they are spending that money in this season, is because this season has triggered, amongst many things, the spike in a particular emotion. And that emotion is love. Are you following me, guys? This is important. So the question is, how can we take advantage of the emotional spike in this season? Because that's essentially what this season does. There is an increment, there's a rise in the emotions in the atmosphere. So what we want to do is, we're seeing something. There's more money, there are more emotions. What we want to do is, how can we make these things to be in our favor so that we sell more properties in this season? Is this making sense to you guys? That's exactly why we're here today. Right? And so I would like, how sessions are. Sessions are short and straight to the point, about 15, 30 minutes max. They were out. So how can I take advantage of both the emotions available and the cash available to spend to ensure that people buy my property? Number one, listen to me carefully. You must connect your product to Valentine in your sales pitch. And I'm going to explain what exactly this means. You see, let me give you an example. I was coming back today, right? So my younger brother has had his inter-house sports. And so we went to check, we went for his inter-house sport, basically. And then, he went to a Christian school. And as we were coming back, how have you, security men used to beg for things at the gates, generally, almost the average security men, police, whatever, they beg for stuff. So if a policeman should stop you, the policeman will say, "How far? Anything for the boys?" How many of you have heard that statement before? You've heard anything for the boys before, right? Now, but when we came out, it's a Christian community where my younger brother schooled in. The guy didn't say anything for the boys. You know what the guy started doing? He said, mommy, because when he come with my mother, and I think he started praying. Say, as you are going, your trip will be safe. I say, this guy has realized that the tactic of begging in this place, because a Christian community, he has to tweak it to incline to spiritual things. So this is what I want you to note. If you have not heard anything I've said, note this down. As a person who wants to sell, you need to talk, follow me, in a way that your clients want to hear. Did you hear what I just said? You want to talk in a way that your clients want to hear. And I'll give you an example again. If there's a baby here and the baby is trying to get my attention or something, let's say I'm the father and all of that, there's a way you talk to babies, right? You go with basic words. You say, and when you want to play with them, you say, baby, dad, or something. Because that's how the baby can understand. Many a times, we talk or we sell how we want to sell, not how our people want to be sold. So you must be able to connect your product to Valentine in your sales pitch. Let me give you an example. Follow me carefully. Right? If I want somebody to buy a car, follow me carefully. Let's say this car is 5 million. I can go and tell the person this car is going to move you from point A to point B. It has AC, the tires are great, it has insurance, the papers are ready. Now, all of that is great. Are you following me? But are you aware that if I ask this guy a series of questions, what's your greatest problem? Why you want to get a car? Now, maybe this guy talks to me and then he says, the reason why I want to get a car is because I'm spending so much money on Uber. Are you with me? And that's why we teach you guys to ask questions. Now, it says I'm spending so much money on Uber. So what's his problem? His problem is that he's spending so much money. Now, how you are trying to sell the car is by telling him that the car has good features. The question is, how does the features solve his spending money? So that means what you have to be saying is in such a way that you can show this guy that how much Uber do you take in a week? The guy says, maybe I spend 30K on Uber. And then you now do the math for him. How many weeks are in a year? 30,000 times 52. How much is that? 30,000 times 52. 30,000 times 52. That's about 1.560, right? And so you make him realize that 1.560 is the minimum you are going to spend, right? Which I think is going to be more, right? And so you tell him that if you buy this car in 2.5 years maximum, you have covered how much you would have spent in Uber, which you do daily. Are you with me? So you must now be able to connect your product to Valentine in this sales pitch. So, for example, you're having a conversation with a guy, right? He doesn't know what to buy for his girlfriend. You have a conversation with him. You can get your girlfriend an apartment. So before, what you were saying was invest in an apartment to earn money. But now you change it. Why don't you get an apartment for your girlfriend or your wife, or vice versa? As a lady, you get an apartment for your boyfriend or your husband, right? And that is going to pay him $1 million yearly, right? She'll be so excited. So how can I pitch to the people that I'm pitching to with red and connect it to Valentine in this season? Are you with me? That's how you want to have that conversation, especially for people who it matters to. Let me tell you a secret, especially for newly wedded couples. Because when you just marry, your blood is still, you get very hot. First, second year marriage people, their blood are very hot. So if you find those kind of people, are you following what I'm saying? Have that conversation with them. Say, God, what are you planning to get your wife this year? Say I'm planning to get her a good, I don't know, whatever he says. She says, why don't you think I could get her an apartment, 6.5 million, a long lease. She'll get about £1 million in rent, right? So that every time she gets her rent, she remembers you. What do you think about that, sir? The guy thinks, he said, yeah, I mean, it's just a great way to surprise her. So rather than spending your money on stuff, that will expire or that will finish or that will fade out, you can buy her something that's going to earn her money for the rest of the year. So you connect your product to Valentine in your sales pitch. Does that make sense, guys? If that makes sense, give me feedback. Let me know if you guys understand what I'm saying. I have about 3-4 points for you. Let me shut down a realtor school for today. So that's, like I said, the first thing I want you to do: connect your sales pitch. Find a way to turn your sales pitch around and inclining towards Valentine's. Number 2 is give Valentine incentives. Now, this is where you have to be smart. So let's imagine I'm selling a property of 50 million. Let's say my commission is 5% on this property. So if I sell a 5% commission, they give me 2.5 million. So in this season, you can say you want to sacrifice the 500K on this 2.5 million. And so you can now say something like, if you buy this property, we're going to give you and your partner a night at maybe Eco Hotels and Suites, or 2 nights, right? Or you get a weekend on a boat cruise. Are you with me? So you can convert a fraction of your commissions, are you with me, to be incentives for these people. Does that make sense? So, but now, in designing incentives, your incentives have to make sense to the people. So you don't say that, buy 50 million property, I'll give you and your wife microwave. What do you mean? You have to do it in such a way that it's optimal for them. Does that make sense? Really, really important. So you can find ways and mannerisms to incentivize, yourselves during Valentine. It incentivizes your clients during Valentine. Another thing you can do, let me tell you guys a secret. Clients that have bought in the past are the best kind of clients, because you're almost sure that they will buy in the future. Are you with me? Clients that have bought in the past are the best kind of clients, because you're almost very sure that they buy in the future. So what you can do is go to those clients that have bought in the past, if you have the means, and say, oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma, for purchasing this property. If you don't mind, we want to give you guys a 50K voucher to go on a spa date or something. You will find out those little things touch people more than you think. Those little things touch people more than you think. Simple spa date tickets can be 50K for 2 of them, can be 75,000 for 2 of them. And then you give to 2 of them and tell you we come back to buy another property. So incentives work in 2 ways. They can sponsor people to buy, and the people that have bought, it can foster your relationship with them. And relationship preservation is gold. Does that make sense? Number 3 is offer time-based discounts in this season. Now, you are not the owner of the property. So let's say you are selling for a real estate company and it's 50 million. You cannot give a discount. But what you can do is you can give a cashback. Right? So what's cashback? And why is this important? Because you see, you can infuse this properly, you lose some level of clients. So I'll give you an example. Let me tell you, one of the most important things to selling is urgency and scarcity. Urgency and scarcity. These are one of the 2 most important keys, to selling. Urgency and scarcity. And so what is urgency? You want to make them do it fast. What is scarcity? You want to make them think that it's limited. And so what urgency does is that, because people buy emotionally and they justify with logic, what happens is that if you cannot get them to commit to a decision when they are still in the emotional state, by the time they move to the logical state, you find out that they now have excuses. So when the emotions are stirred up at the initial point, you want to get them to make a decision. I'll give you an example. There's a particular client of ours that was to buy, think about 2 plots this January. And I found out that The guy had the money. The guy was ready to buy. He was just in and out, in and out. So I waited very patiently. By the next day, the price was going to increase. The night before, I sent him a reminder. I said, sir, by tomorrow, the price is going to go up. By 11 p.m., that's when he sent the money. Right? Because people, will make decisions when urgency is involved. So you can offer a time-based discount. So what does that mean? Like I said, you're not the owner of the property. You may not be able to give a discount, but you can give a cashback. And sometimes it's sacrificing a portion of your commission. So just again, like this 50 million property, maybe your commission is 10%, so they're going to give you 5 million, right? And so you now tell the person that anybody buying between now and February, maybe 20th, right? For everything you buy, they're going to get a 1 million naira discount or 1 million naira cashback. And so now they pay the 50 million, you take 1 million from your commission, and then you give them, and everybody's fine. Are you with me? So if you can, offer time-based discounts. And so this even helps. So sometimes I have conversations with my clients and I say, sir, ma, this is an offer that only me can give you. And people like to feel things are exclusive. How many of you know that? That when things look exclusive, people like them. And that's the whole point of luxury, by the way. Luxury, people like luxury because they think, there's a certain class of people, there's a select few that have it. So they want to buy it. So when you tell the guy that there's a special offer that you can only get with me, which is true, right? That if you buy a 50 million naira property, we're going to give you a 1 million naira cashback. We're going to give you a 1.5 million naira cashback. The guy will be shocked, right? And sometimes, let me tell you the truth, you don't give this cashback in cash. What you do is you tie it to another property. So you say, if you buy this land in Lekki, I'm going to give you, or if you buy this house, maybe in Lekki Phase 1, maybe it's 50 million, we're going to give you a land for free in Ekpe. So the guy is seeing, if I buy a house, I get a land. But what you are doing is you are taking your commission to go and buy the land for him. And you tell him this is an offer that's expiring on the 20th of February, right? Once it's the 20th of February, we won't be able to do that, sir. I apologize, sir. And now the guy is thinking, and you find out that he makes that deposit. So you can offer time-based discounts. Now, the next one, which I think is best, is you can offer couple discounts. Listen to me. How many of you have gone to a place where they say one is maybe 10 naira? 10 naira. They say two is 20 naira. They now say three is 15 naira. How many of you have seen something like this? If you have seen it, type in. If you have seen it, type in. Let me see you. Now, you know what will happen to you? You may not need three of those things. You actually need one, right? Sometimes they'll make it ridiculous. They'll now put 5 is 35 naira. So you who would have bought one, you will now buy 5. So what this strategy does is for people who are already ready to buy one plot. Are you with me? Who are ready to buy one plot. So listen, it's one thing to get new customers. That's a great thing. But then it's even a better thing when you can expand how much each customer spends on you. So there are two things. You're trying to get new people into your system. You're trying to get the people that come in to spend the most. So why should a guy that can spend 5 million spend only 1 million with you? Sometimes great offers are just different. 2 minutes to the end of this session. So I'll wrap up now. But are you gaining value from this? Is this making sense to you? Let me take your feedbacks. Is this making sense to you guys? I can offer a couple discounts. So you and your wife, if you guys are buying this, we're going to give you at this. So that way, the guy wanted to buy one plot. Now he buys 2 plots. Then you have more commission. Does that make sense? So I think that's the end of this session for us. I'll take questions. We have 2 minutes. As usual, 0 sessions are short and sharp. Straight to the point. So I barely have time to tell stories or make it as it is. So as usual, these are our contact points. If you have any questions, you can talk to us, and then we'll respond appropriately. I'm hoping this session was valuable for you. I'm hoping it made sense to you. I'm going to see you guys next week. Are there any questions? I can't see any questions for now. Anyways, thank you guys for joining in. I'm going to see you guys next week's Realtor School. As usual, I remain Realtor Z, your plug for the best real estate investment deals. See you guys next week.